So before I get started, let me say that Horizon Zero Dawn for the PS4 is a great game. If you have a PS4 and have the opportunity to go out and buy it, in my opinion, it's well worth it. It was really good gameplay and a great story, and I enjoyed every minute of it as I played over the past week. For those of you that don't know, Horizon Zero Dawn takes place around 1,000 years after an apocalyptic event, and you play a female brave from the Nora tribe named Aloy, who is on a hunt to unlock the mysteries of herself and thereby her world. Now in this world, there are other tribes than just the Nora, but the Nora are unique in that they are one, a matriarchy, and two, are relatively equal in regards to gender. So whether you are a man or a woman, you can engage in the same profession like being a warrior or hunter, for example. Now it's relatively equal, not completely equal, as the group is ruled by its religious caste, which is comprised solely of women, aptly named the matriarchs. Though it does seem that below this highest position, other positions of authority are open to anyone regardless of their sex. Now our main character, Aloy, is a hunter. She is strong and smart and can do anything that anyone else can do, specifically men, and this is shown throughout the game and even commented on as Aloy encounters other peoples and cultures that are much different than her own, with the largest, known as the Karja tribe, having more traditional gender roles similar to that of our past and what we can still see in many parts of the world today. As a result of this main character, the game has garnered a lot of attention and positive press because with Aloy as the main character, Horizon Zero Dawn is, as The Guardian phrased it a month before the game's release, the feminist action game we've been waiting for. If you say so. Now, I didn't really delve too deeply into any of this, mainly because I didn't want to find any spoilers, as I thought the game looked great and couldn't wait to play. For me, like most people and most gamers, the gender of the main character doesn't matter. It never has, and it never will. Nevertheless, for a lot of people, mainly feminist, the gender of Aloy was everything. So I'm sitting down playing the game a few evenings ago, very much enjoying it, and so is my wife, who is sitting right next to me watching. And this is where I saw the absurdity of feminism with this game, and the absurdity of feminism in general. And it happened because of a comment my wife made. At one point in the evening, she turned to me and said, "It's nice to see a game that has a strong female lead." I paused for a second and thought about what she said. At first, I was in agreement. Aloy was a good lead, and she wasn't put in just as eye candy for gamers, most of which are men. She wasn't scantily dressed, and the main focus on every scene wasn't on her boobs. But then my mind started to switch gears, and in response to my wife, I asked her, "What woman are you talking about? All I see is a man." And as I said this, as I thought about this, I realized it was true. Yes, Aloy and the other women of the Nora tribe had softer facial features, different voices, and a little bit more mass on their chest. But they were essentially men in their behavior, attitudes, and performances. And for this, they, and specifically Aloy, were championed. From that point on, I had a completely different view of the character and the world as I played the game. As I played, I realized there was nothing that marked Aloy as a woman or even feminine, even though the same Guardian article stated gamers would be inspired by her femininity. If you gave her the body and the voice of a man, there would be, literally, no difference in the story. There was nothing unique about her character that could not have easily fit onto a male version, if not fit better. There was no struggle or challenge that she had to face specifically because she was a woman, even though the other cultures around her were those that limited what a woman could do. And to see someone like Aloy was strange, unusual, and against their traditions. And there was no struggle or challenge that Aloy overcame because she was a woman. There was no time that any sort of femininity, which she doesn't display, ever came into play. And for this, for essentially being a man, she was championed by feminists as an ideal feminist. And this is the absurdity of feminism. They champion a woman because she acts and behaves like a man. Unlike the feminism of the past, it is a feminism robbed of femininity. And this is just strange and absurd. It comes off as saying women should essentially try to be like men, that the value of their own lives is only attained by meeting the standards set by men. To be like a man is to be a good woman. And for a lot of what we see from the loudest feminist voices, this is what they believe. They encourage women to be like men and shame those that don't. The contempt they have for women who choose to take a break from their careers and start a family being just one example. Unfortunately for them, men and women are different, both in biology and behavior. This doesn't mean one is inferior to the other. And this doesn't mean that women or men are shackled to any specific role. While generally men and women will act in a stereotypical nature, there are plenty of exceptions, and each should have the same opportunity to pursue whatever they want. Yet instead of celebrating our diversity and differences, absurdly the feminists that champion Aloy want to do away with these differences, this diversity, and tell women that they should act like men, who lack femininity except when it comes to physical features, and even those should be repressed. Now, like I said, Horizon Zero Dawn is a great game, and I do recommend it. But I have to admit that after putting all this together, after thinking about all of this, Aloy as a character seems less. She is more like a vehicle for the player, rather than a character with a lot of depth, like you might see in another open-world game such as The Witcher 3, with its main character, Geralt. And her being a woman just seems like an aesthetic choice. A shallow one at that has no bearing on her interaction with the world. The creators of the game could have made her being a woman really significant in the struggles and challenges she faced. And it really could have served as an inspiration to both women and men, that no matter the difficulties that lie ahead, you can overcome it. But it wasn't that. She was very general, and seemed more like a man than a woman. And for this, she was lauded as an ideal feminist. Of course, I know that everyone won't agree with me on this, and if you do or don't, or have any other opinion on the matter, please let me know in the comment section below.